नमः सुंदरनाथाय तस्मै हालास्य वासिने चतुष्षष्टि विधालीला येनाकारि भुवस्थले श्रीमत् सुंदरनाथस्य देवीं शफरलोचनां कलये हृदये नित्यं कदम्ब वनवासिनी पूतं स्वतः पूततरं ततो यद् गाङ्गम्पयः शङ्करमौलिसङ्गात् तत्पातु मातुः प्रणयापराध पादाहतैः पूततमं ततो नः सरस्त्रिशूल प्रभवं पुरारेः तथात्यगाधं तदभूत् क्षणेन यथात्र देवो अवतरन् प्लवेत त्रिविक्रमः क्रांत जगत्त्रयो अपि. In the Kadambavanam, where there is this Sundaralingam, a lot of people come and they are unable to do Abhishekam because there are no facilities available nearby. So Parameshwara, seeing this difficulty that the people are facing, he decides to build a lake there, and tatra tatakam nirmatum ichanna saha trishulena tatra he hit with his trishulam on the ground, and in such a manner that it went and hit the outer shell of this Brahmandam. When it hit the outer shell, there is another avaranam for this Brahmandam, which is made of up water. And that water started to gush out of the hole that this Trishulam had made. And at that point, the lake was born from Shiva's Trishulam. It was so deep in the Shloka. The poet imagines that, it is so deep that even Lord Trivikrama, Vamanavatara, when he had taken his Vishwarupam to cross all three worlds, if he comes here, if he descends into this lake, Atra Avataran Sopi Plaveta, it is possible that he could also float if he enters into this lake. This is called Atishayokti here. We'll move on to the next shloka. Na aurvat. He is again further, the poet is describing how deep it is. So to get an understanding, we are trying to imagine a lake which is not in front of our eyes. So poetry is something that will make us imagine anything that either doesn't exist or that which we cannot see in front of our eyes. So only if you exaggerate a little bit, you will be able to understand the depth of how it is. No amount of those people who have visited Manasarovar would understand this description, because no amount of description or photos or videos is going to give you that effect the moment you go and stand there in front of that Manasarovar. Probably, it's so huge and it is very deep at the same time. It is also crystal clear. So that experience which you cannot get in person, we are trying to get it from the poetry. So, Migai Padatti solradu, you always, there is a little bit of exaggeration, but still it will give you the import of how deep the lake is. So in keeping with that, the next shloka, na aurvat, na ramat, na kumbhayonehe yasyasti bhitihi tadavekshya tirtham ashvasam ajagmatuhu arnavasthau shashvattamau tavapi kurma mino. It is so deep that this lake is compared to a samudram, to an ocean. So there are three reasons for the ocean to be afraid of. So ocean, when you compare it to an ocean, it means that it cannot be dried up very quickly, or it never dries up. It is in a nirantara tatakaha. There are three shoshana hetu, that is drying up, the causes for the ocean to dry up, or there is a fear of drying up because of these three things. One is Aurvanala, the other is Ramaha, Dasharathihi Ramaha, the third one is Kumbhayonihi, which is Agastya. The first one is Aurvanala, Vadavagni. I'll finish the Anvaya of this word by word meaning and then give you some Purana, Itihasa references. So, Yasya Tirthasya, Shiva Tirthasya, and that lake was called Shiva Tirtham or Suvarna Pushkarini. Na aurvat Bhitihi asti yasya tirthasya aurvat vadavagnehe aurva maharshehe tapo agnihi. So there is one Agni supposed to be there present inside the ocean, which is constantly drinking in the water. And that is why, even though there are so many clouds that are raining constantly in the ocean, at some place or the other, there is rain pouring out into the ocean. With so much of water input and waters from the rivers that come and pour in their waters, there is a possibility of this ocean growing and flooding the entire earth. But that is not happening because there is a mythical fire called Aurvagnihi. There is a fire inside the ocean, which is also called Vadavagnihi. That is supposed to be constantly drinking this water and keeping the Samudram in check within its boundary. So there is a chance that if there is no more water pouring in, this Samudram might completely get dried up. So, parantu atra Shivatirthe aurvasya avidyamanatvat. There is no aurvagni there in this Shivatirtham. So there is no bhiti, bhayam of it drying up completely. So aurvat na bhitihi yasya Shivatirthasya. The second one is Rama. Rama stood in front of this Samudram and he said, I will dry up the entire ocean. The Tatha Atrapi Nasti, because Rama did not encounter this Shivatirtham at all. So Ramat api na bhitihi yasya kumbhayonehe api na bhitihi. In the, I think the 20th or 21st shloka, 22nd shloka, we saw this katha in detail, that Agastya drank up the entire ocean in one palm. So, na kumbhayonehe api panchami vibhakti atra. So, kumbhayonehe agastyat api yasya tirthasya na bhitihi trasaha vartate. Tat tirtham drishtva avekshya, after seeing that Shiva tirtham, even Kurma Mino api Kurma avataraha, Meena avataraha, right? Both Matsya avataraha, both of those forms also Arnavasthau, who are constantly Shashvattamau Arnavasthau, Shashvattamau, who are constantly present in the ocean, Arnavasthau. Kurmavatara is present in the Kshirasagara, and Matsyavataram is present in this Pralaya Jalam. Right? So Kurma Meenau api Shashvattamau Sada Sarvada Arnave Eva Tishtataha Yau Dvau Rupe, sorry, Ye Dve Rupe Parameshwarasya, na Vishnoho. So those two forms of Vishnu, which are constantly present in the ocean, Ashwasam Jagmatuhu, they became very happy about it, it seems. They were very satisfied because in case this ocean dries up, they find solace in another place, which is also equally Gambhiram, equally deep. So the story of this Aurva, actually the story is told in Mahabharatam, in the Adi Parva, where Shakti, yes, Vasishta's son, Shakti, he encounters a king called Kalmashapada, and they both have a fight because it is a one single lane where they both meet. Kalmashapada is very hungry and tired. Shakti is going on his path, but he is very arrogant also, Vasishta's son. And when he is going in the same path, Kalmashapada asks him to move back because he wants to go to the cottage and get food and water. But Shakti is very arrogant and he doesn't let him come in. So the result is he is burnt. Shakti actually burns Kalmashapada. He curses Kalmashapada to be a Rakshasa, and then that Rakshasa comes to eat all of them. So all of Vasishta's sons are all destroyed. Now there is one child who is born to Shakti, who is Parashara. Parashara comes to know of this matter about his father, and he starts to perform a yaga where all the Rakshasas are being destroyed. because he is in so much of anger that his father was killed by a Rakshasa. Now, Vasishtha comes to Parashara and says, you should stop this yagam right now because you should not kill the entire Rakshasa Kulam for one mistake that your father has also committed. So it is not a single mistake that Kalmashapada did, but it is a mutual mistake. Shakti was also arrogant. Kalmashapada was also very thirsty at that point of time, and he killed, he insulted Shakti. So the mistake lies on both sides. So you should not take a unilateral decision to kill all the Rakshasas. You will have to let go of your anger. Now, at that point, Vasishtha gives the story of Aurva Rishi, who was also equally, who was doing a lot of tapas, and he was doing tapas with a very good tapas pandradungrong. So he was in a very intense tapas mode that his whole body started heating up, and his tapas was in the form of an Agni inside him. All of his ancestors, Aurva, the Rishi's ancestors, came and spoke to him and said, you will have to let go of this Krodham. You will have to let go of this Agni, which is in the form of a tapas. You have to let go of your tapas, which is in the form of an Agni within you. If you do not let this go, this is going to consume you completely. So he also realizes at that point when his Pitru-Devataha, they come and tell him about his tapas, and Aurva Maharishi also realizes that his tapas has gone to such an intense form that it might burn the entire world, or if he keeps it within himself also, his own body will be destroyed. So he did not want that, and what he did was, Tataha tam krodhajam agnim Aurvaha Varunalaye Utsasarja Chaiva Sachaiva Apaha Upayunkte Mahadadho. Sorry. So Krodhajam Agnim. So he took his Agni and dropped it into the Varunalayam, which is the Samudram. Utsasarja, into the ocean. Mahodadho. Mahadhaya Shiro Bhutva. Now that Agni took on the form of a horse. It took on the shape of the head of a horse. Mahat haya shiro bhutva. Hayaha ashvaha. Ashvasya mukhamiva tasya rupam api abhut agnehe rupam. Bhutva yattad vedavido viduhu tam agnim udgirat vaktrat pibati apaha mahodado. So when that Agni took on a form of a horse's face, and from the horse's mouth, as and when needed, the fire comes out and drinks the water. So this is the story that is given in Mahabharatam, Adi Parva, about Aurvanala. So it is constantly drying up the ocean and keeping it in check. Tadrisha Aurvanalastu Shivatirthe nasti, idi Aurvanalat, bhitihi trasaha nasti Shivatirthasya. So there is no fear of drying up. One. The next one is from Ramayana, where Rama is present in the banks of the ocean. Saha samudram titirshuhu tatraiva vratam acharati divasatrayam yavat vratam acharanasti. And Ramayana, he wants to do puja and everything, but still Sagaraha swarupam na adarashayata. He did not show his form. He wanted the Sagara, Samudram, to come in its own form and give way for the entire army to go to Lanka. But that did not happen. Rama took a vratam for 3 days, and still Sagaraha, Samudraha did not show up. So Rama becomes very angry, and he immediately looks at Lakshmana and addresses him with a few sentences. This is one of the places where Rama shows his Ishwaratva. Atmanam Manusham Manye Ramam Dasharathatmajam. He takes on a form of Manushya, and he also thinks of himself as a Manushya, and he's been behaving his entire thing in his entire life. But then there are 2-3 places where without his knowledge or in an involuntary manner, he shows off his Ishwaratvam. So he says, Chapamanaya Saumitre, Sharamscha Ashi Vishopamane, Sagaram Joshishami, Padbyam Yantu Plavangamaha. Sahe Saumitre, Mama Chapam Anaya. Bring my bow, Sharanacha, Ashi Vishopamana. Ashi Vishaha are snakes. My arrows are like snakes. Poisonous snakes. Ashi Visha Upamana, Sharanacha, Anaya. Sagaram Shoshayishyami. I will dry up this entire ocean. Plavangamaha Padbhyam Yantu. Let these monkeys travel by foot to Lanka. I don't care. I will dry up the entire ocean. This is Rama's pratignya there. And only when Rama shows his anger, the ocean comes out. Of course, he says, this is my prakriti. You can't, I cannot give you path for you to walk because there are so many jantu and everything inside. So it will become very difficult. And this is my prakriti, nature. How can I go against my nature to give you, move away and give you a path? The only thing I can do is, you can build a bridge and I will ensure that all the stones that you put there float. So he gives that pratignya that way. So Chapam Anaya Saumitre Shara. This is the second Trasa Hetu for Samudram. Whereas for Shivatirtha, this is nowhere near the ocean nor near Lanka. For Rama to come there and threaten the Shivatirtham that I will dry it up. Right? So that sort of a fear is also not there for the holy lake. Next one is Kumbhayonihi. Agastya. We saw this entire piece in the earlier shloka in second. So, Esha Lokahitartham vai Pibami Varunalayam Bhavadbihi Yadanushteyam Tat Shigram Samvidhiyatam Iti Devana Avadat Agastyaha Yataha Kaleyaha Nama Rakshasaha Tatra they hid themselves inside the ocean, and every night they were descendants of Vritrasura, and every night they would come out, and when everybody was sleeping, they would come and destroy or eat all the people around. And so they were slowly destroying the population that were there, especially the Rishi Kulam, which was staying in the forests there. So the Devas went to Vishnu, and Vishnu came and told, Vishnu said that only Agastya can do this. So they prayed to Agastya. Agastya says, I will drink this ocean. Quickly, you will have to go and kill those Kaleyas who are hiding underneath the ocean. That Shigram Vidhiyatam. Quickly, you will have to do what has to be done so that I can put back the ocean in its Prakriti, Swabhava. Whereas by the time they kill the Asuras, Jirno Bhut, the entire ocean became Jirnam there, and they had to dig again for a new ocean. Right? So, na kumbhayonehe api yasya bhitihi na asit, because there are no Kaleya Asuras hiding here for Agastya to drink it. In fact, Agastya liked this area so much that he had taken up this Kadambavanam as his Vasasthalam, right? Or Malaya Parvatam as his Vasasthalam. Na Aurvat, na Ramat, na cha Kumbhayonehe yasya asti bhitihi. Tat avekshya tirtham. Now, Kurmavatara and Matsyavataram need a huge water body for them to survive, because it is like a Vishwarupam. So the entire ocean was Ekarnavi Kritam, Tada Matsyavataraha Asit. When the whole world, 3 worlds had become into one ocean, and it was Pralaya Payodhi, in that deluge, that is where Matsyavatara could survive. If Matsyavatara looked at this Tirtham and felt very happy, the Ashwasam Ajagmatuhu Ajagama, then imagine the depth of this ocean. Imagine the width of this, ocean lake, Shivatirtham. So it is such a huge lake that even Matsyavatara would feel very happy that there is another place for it to go. Tatha Kurmavataraha api. Right? It was it is so huge that it had a mountain on its back. So it needed a space to reside in, which is equally Gambhiram, which is as deep or wide as a Kshirasakaram. So this is all, these are all Atishayokti. And of course, Atra, Yadyapi, I think Atishayokti would fit better than Vyatireka Alankaram. You can say Gambhirye Samudradapi asya tirthasya adhikyam asti iti varnayati kavihi tasmat vyatireka alankaraha ityapi vaktum shakyate. But Atishayokti is also there. Atishayokti garbhitam. Naurvan Naraman Nacha Kumbhayonehe Yasyasti Bhitihi Tadavekshya Tirtham Ashvasam Ajagmatuhu Arnavasthau Shashvattamau Tau Api Kurma Meeno. Shashvattamau is an adjective to Kurma and Meena. Bhagavataha Avataraha ye santi tetu sarvada vartante ityeva. So that's why even if we are in Kali Yugam and it's supposed to be the time for no, it's not even the time for Kalki Avataram. Let's say we have just finished Krishna Avataram and Kalki Avataram should come in this intermediary time. It is not that you never think that Bhagavan's avatārams are not at all there in this world. It is always present. So that's why he says Kurma Meenau Shashvattamau Sarvada Bhavanti Nirantara Rupena Arnave Bhavanti Eva. We have to think of them in that manner. That's why even today there are people who have had visions of Nrisimha. Even though Nrisimha Avatara happened so long ago, even if the Avatara Prayojanamatra Nasti iti Yadyapi Uchyate Tathapi, there is a possibility of the Paramatma taking on any form. So all those avataras are ever present in their, but we are not able to see it. Okay, so that's why Shashvattamau Kurma Meeno. The next one is, now he describes the lotuses, the flowers that are there in the Tirtham. So the Tirtham description is over. The next is a few descriptions, maybe 2-3 descriptions about the water and the flowers that are there inside the Tirtham. Avirbhavantihi salile samantat ambojinihi utpalinischa tasmin drishau pibantyo paramasya dhamnaha pritim param prapatuhu arkachandrau. Arkachandrau Param Pritim Prapatuhu. Arka Chandrau. Arkaha Suryaha. Chandraha Induhu. Ubhavapi Param Pritim Apatuhu. They attained a great satisfaction. Both Surya and Chandra. Who are these two? Paramasya Dhamnaha Drishau. These two are the two eyes of Parameshwara. Paramadhama is Paramasya Sarvotkristasya Dhama ityukte Jyotihi. So Paranjyoti Swarupasya Paramatmanaha Netrabhuto Etau Arka Chandra. Right? In many so I will quote that. I don't remember any other Rita. Ahas Sute Sabyam Tavanayanam Arkatmakataya Triyama Mamamte Srijati Rajani Nayakataya Ambayaha Dve Netre Staha Tatra Ekam Netranto Tatra Ahaha Sute. It gives rise to the daytime, it seems. Katham Arkatmakataya, because it is of the form of the sun. So Surya Chandramasau. Sun is one eye and Chandramaha is the other eye. So Ahas Sute Sabhyam Tavanayanam Arkatmakataya. And then the second one is Tri Yamam Vamamte. The left eye is Chandran. So that creates the night, it seems. So what to do of this Sandhya time? So he says the third eye creates that Sandhya Vela. Arkatmakataya Tri Yamam Vamamte. Srijati Rajani Nayakataya. Tritiya Te Drishtihi. Dara Dalita Hemambujarachihi Samadhatte Sandhyam Divasa Nishayor Antarachari. Divasa Nishayoho Antarachari. Sandhya. Sandhya is a time that is present in between the daytime and the night time. And so the third eye, which has the luster of a Hemambuja, a Suvarna Pankajam. So it looks like the Sandhya time. And so it creates the Sandhya time. So Arkat Paramasya Dhamnaha Paranjyoti Swarupasya Parabrahmanaha Drishau Netre. What are those two? Arka Chandra. Sun and the moon are the two eyes of Paramatma. And these two, they are pibantyo. They are constantly drinking. So drik is in Strilinga. So you have pibantyo also in Strilinga. Okay, the Shatra form. Now, what does it keep drinking? Salile samantat avirbhavantihi ambojinihi utpalinischa pibantyo drishau arkachandrau param pritim apatuhu. So, the tasmin salile, in that water, in the waters inside the lake, samantat, all round, sarvatra, avirbhavantihi ambojinihi, there are lotuses which come out. Ambojini can mean ambojam, ambojani, yatra vidyante iti ambojini. So lata, you can also take it as kamala lata, kamalini, or ambojanam samoham, samoharte api vaktum shakyate, where it is like a group of lotuses. So ambojinihi, avirbhavantihi, those lotuses which are blooming or which are coming out all round in that water. Samantat tasmin salile. So tasmin salile samantat avirbhavantihi ambojinihi utpalinihi cha, and lilies which bloom there. Both cannot bloom at the same time. Whereas here he is saying both are blooming at the same time. One is lotus, which blooms because of the sun. Right? So, pratah kale eva suryasya kirana sparshat tatra kamalanam vikasaha bhavati, ratrau tu chandra kirana sparshadeva utpalanam vikasaha. So both has to happen at a different time. Whereas here there is a constant sannidhyam of Parameshwara, and Arkaha, Chandraha, Ubhavapi tatra vartante iti karanat, both lotuses and lilies are blooming all round in that water, it seems. So, samantat tasmin salile avirbhavantihi ambojinihi utpalinihi cha. Utpalam is kumudam, allippu, which blooms only in the night. So, utpalinihi cha pibantyo. Pibanti itukte tatra aswadayantyo vishayi kritav. They are being seen by them. Pibanti, you can't take it literally as drinking, but you take it as seeing. Pashyantyo ityartha. So pashyantyo drishau, the eyes which are seeing the lotuses and lilies that are blooming all round, those two eyes are the sun and the moon, which are the two eyes of Paramatma. Paramasya dhamnaha drishau arkachandrau param pritim prapatuhu. Even though drishau is in Strilingam, Arkachandrau is in Pullinga, because they are of the form of sun and moon. It is sun, it is moon. Those two are the eyes of Paramatma. They attain a great pleasure because they are seeing both of these blooming at the same time. Now, typically, Nilakanta Dikshita is going to wonder why, but he has a reason for that also in the next shloka. Avirbhavantihi salile samantat ambojinihi utpalinischa tasmin drishau pibantyo paramasya dhamnaha pritim param prapatuhu arkachandro. Traigunya rupam trishikam hi shambhoho dhiraha jagatkaranamamananti tatsam prasutepi sarasya amushmin ka hetu chinta kamalotpalanam. Kamalotpalanam ka hetu chinta atra. Why should you think about the reason for both lotuses and lilies to be blooming at the same time? See, Utpatti itself is such a divine Utpatti here. So, one should not keep thinking about the Hetu. Hetu Chinta, Hetu Charcha. Kamala Utpalanam Hetu Charcha. Katham ekatra ekasminneva tatake ekasminneva samaye kamalanam utpalanam cha utpattihi katham syat iti tatra charcha eva na bhavitavya kimartham, because this trishulam shambhoho trishikam traigunya rupam, it is of the its form is made up of the three gunas, which is sattva, rajas, tamas. See, Ishvara is responsible for Srishti, Sthiti and Layam. The ultimate supreme being can for everyone as a Saguna Upasana, you can think of it as Ishvara, Shiva, or you can think of him as Shakti, think of the Ishvara as Shiva or Shakti or Vishnu, Lakshmi, Yakopiva Bhavatu. Right? So Shambhoho Trishikam, their Ayudham becomes the Nimitta Karanam for Jagat Karanam. So he uses his Trishulam, Trishikam, Traigunya Rupam, which is of the, so anything that is of three gunas, which is Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, is responsible for the creation of the entire world, because this world is being created by Maya. The moment you have a form for the Ishvara, then everything else becomes a transformation of that Maya. Because Ishvara takes up Maya, we give him a form. Otherwise, he is just that transcendental being which is formless. Okay. Dhiraha, atra dhiraha ityukte sthita prajnaha, those who understand the true nature of this universe, and they understand that Paramatma Swarupaha eva, Paramatma eva atra sarvasya karanabhutaha bhavati adhishtanataya vartate iti ye jananti, yesham nityanitya vastu vivekaha vartate tayeva dhiraha, tayeva dhiraha. So munayaha, rishayaha, yesham, or brahmavit, those who understand Brahman. So dhiraha Shambhoho Traigunya Rupam Trishikam Jagat Karanam Amanantihi. They talk of this trident, Trishulam, as the which is of the form of the three qualities, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. It is the cause of the three worlds. Jagat Karanam iti Amananti, Amananti Kathayanti. Now this lake has been born out of that Trishulam. Okay. So yat jagataha jagatam api karanam vidyate tadeva shulam atra sarasaha karanam api vidyate. So tat samprasute tena trishikena samprasute sanjate sarasi amushmin. In this lake which was born out of that Trishulam, what is this worry about? The cause for lotuses and lilies to be together. Amishvin sarasi yat tat samprasute tena trishikena adava trishulena sanjate asmin sarasi kamala utpalanam hetu chinta ka esha. Why do you have to have this worry about how can both exist in the same time? So sometimes, the lotus lake is different from the lakes where lilies are present, or the time of blooming is also different. You cannot have both varieties in the same lake. It could be the reason also. And another thing is that they don't bloom at the same time. Whereas, because it is the Parameshwara's Jagatkarana Bhutam Trishulameva Atrapi Karanataya Vidyate iti Karanat, any sort of miracle can happen, and we don't need to worry about the Hetu here. Take it as a divine cause, that's all. Traigunya Rupam Trishikam hi Shambhoho Dhiraha Jagatkaranam Amananti Tatsam Prasute api Sarasi Amushmin Ka Hetu Chinta Kamalotpalana. Now he has said that this Trishulam is Traigunya Rupam. Okay? It is made of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Generally, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas are given colors like Sattvam is clear, Rajas is, Tamas is dark, Rajas is actually more reddish in color, which is activity based. Okay? So Rajas is activity, so it is reddish in color. Tamas is dark, so it is blue or black, darker in color, and clarity, clear, not white, but clear color, which is Sattvam. Okay. Now, this Trishulam is made up of all three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. So, Karanam Trishulam Asti, Karyam tu Ambaha, the waters in this lake. So, the water in this lake is the Karyam, which is the effect. The Karanam is your Trishulam. Now, Karna Gunaha Karye Sankramanti. The qualities that are there in the Karanam have to come into the Karyam. Karya Gunam Arabhante api. If you take red threads, you can only make a red cloth. You cannot make a blue cloth out of red threads. Yataha raktavarnam tu karane vidyate tantushu raktavarnaha vidyate iti chet patahar tu raktavarniyaha eva bhavati natu neelavarniyaha tatra. Yataha karana gunaha, the causal qualities, the qualities in the cause naturally start the qualities in the effect also. You cannot have another karana gunam coming in which is absent in the karana. Yeah. Similarly, now you have sattva rajas tamo atmakam trishulam as the karanam. This lake is your karyam here. Now we are going to find all three qualities here, not in its quality as such, but in the color, varna. Blue, reddish color, and you are going to have a clear water also. Shivaleelarnavam bahihi ambujabham antaha ghataihi udriyamanam acham traigunya rupam trishikhodbhavam tadambaha nijan hetugunan vyanakti. Tadambaha, those waters, nijan hetugunan, it reveals its own hetuguna, it exhibits the qualities of its cause. The nijan hetugunan, its cause is the trishulam. So it exhibits vyanakti, it prakatayati. Hetugunan, karanasya gunan vyanakti, it shows off its own colors, its causes colors. Right? What is its cause? Traigunya rupam trishikha udbhavam. That which was born out of that trishulam, which is of the three types. Here also you find the water having three different colors. So what are those three colors? Bahihi, on the outside, Shivaleelarnavam ambaha. It is very blue in color or it is very dark in color because of Shivala. Shivala is moss. So the water has the blue color or the dark color of moss on the outside as you see the lake. On the inside, when you move the moss a little bit, you will find the reflection of the lotuses in the water. Ambuja abham antaha madhye yatra shaivalam na vidyate athava shaivalam apahritya tatra yadi pashyamaha, then the waters reflect, they're so clear, but they reflect the color of this ambuja. Like Japakusupam near Spatikam. If you take Spatikam, it is going to reflect the color of the object that is present nearby. The Spatikam will also seem reddish in color if there is a hibiscus flower nearby it. In the same way here also, there are so many lotuses blooming there that the water inside, antaha, ambuja abham, abha shobha, athava kantihi, ambujanam kantihi tatra vidyate, yasya, etat sarvam tu bahubrehi samasaha. So Shivaleelarnavam, you will take it as Shivalasya neelam yasya tat iti ambaha, ambasaha visheshanataya vartate. Okay, so it is an adjective to ambaha here. So yat bahihi Shivaleelarnavam, that which is blue on the outside because of moss, Shivala. Antaha, inside, ambujabham, ambujanam abha yasya tat. So that which has the abha, shobha, beauty of lotuses inside, on the inside. Ghataihi udriyamanam sat acham. That water which is acham, very clear, very pure, when it is taken, udriyamanam, with the kalasham, with ghataihi, with pots. So on the pashya velakittu water edukrom. Yeah. So you remove the moss and then you use a pot to take out the water. When you take out the water, it is extremely clear, devoid of any blue color or even the color of the lotus, because no longer there is no lotus inside the pot there now. Right? So ghadaihi utriyamanam sat acham. So neelam indicates tamogunasya gunaha. Ambujabham iti rajogunasya varnaha tatra suchyate, and then acham iti sattva pradhanam. So all three qualities are present. How did all of these colors come into the water? Because the karane api trayah gunaha vartante sattva rajas tamamsi. And those Karana gunas have come into the Karyam also. Okay. Shaivala Neelam Bahir Ambujabham Antarghataihi Udhriyamanam Acham Traigunya Rupam Trishikhodbhavam Tad Ambha Nijan Hetugunan Vyanakti. I'll stop with this. If there are any questions, please ask, because the last shloka is Shardula Vikritism. If I try to compress it now, then it will become difficult. Okay, namaste.
Mahoday, namaste.
Yeah.
Ambujabham antaha. Kamalapushpani antaha bhavanti iti va tatra eva
na antaha na santi antaha iti sarasaha antaha yadi jalam pashyamaha tatra ambujasya abha vartate abha kantihi. It is reflected pratibimbataya ambujanam pratibimbaha tatra vartate iti karanat antaha jalasya madhye tasya kantihi vidyate.
Astu.
So not the yeah. Shaivalamba. The ubhapi sadhu.
Tatra tu harita varnaha kila bhavati.
Haritopi vartate. See, in Sanskrit, in many places you will find haritam, that is dark green, dark blue, and black. All of these three colors are being intermixed and used.
Astu Mahoday. Tarhi shaivalah upari bhavanti antah ambujasya varna darshanam bhavati.
Yes.
Bahu adbhutam asti Mahoday. Dhanyavadaha.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, I think we can stop with this. Namasundara Nathaya Tasmai Halasya Vasine Chatushishti Vidhalila Yenakari Bhuvasthale.